start off our day with something wonderful or hear a story about someone being marvelous. Let's make today Wonderlous. This is the show that gives you a daily dose of happy, uplifting, feel-good stories from around the world. Welcome to another episode of Wonderlous News. I'm Hoyt Christopher. Let's get right to it. So our first segment is really cool. So, son of Superman and Lois, star Dylan Walsh, turned into a superhero to save himself. Sorry, we got to cut that. Start again. Okay. Start from the top. Wonderless News, episode 37, take 2. Let's start off our day with something wonderful, or hear a story about someone being marvelous. Let's make today Wonderless. This is the show that gives you a daily dose of happy, uplifting, feel-good stories from around the world. Welcome to another episode of Wonderless News. I'm Hoyt Christopher. Let's get right to it. All right, so our first segment is the son of Superman and Lois star Dylan Walsh turned into a superhero himself to save a driver whose vehicle plunged into the water. Okay, so Dylan Walsh's son is Thomas Walsh. He's 26. He's a military veteran, and now he's currently a sous chef at the Phillips Seafood Restaurant in Baltimore. So he was actually cruising into work just to talk to his boss. Wasn't going in there to, do any cooking or anything. When he noticed that this vehicle plunged in the water, he jumped into action, got in there, and saved this man as his SUV was sinking after he had drove it into the harbor. So this guy just jumped to it and saved him just like a superhero, man. We got a lot of people saving lives out there. I like that. And, this came from a celebrity. This is a celebrity son. So, Dylan Walsh, he was also a star of Nip and Tuck, said to the Today Show, hey, look, I'm very proud of my son for his quick thinking and actions to save this man. And I think we all can agree that was pretty incredible. And it's always good to connect celebrity's son with doing something great. And of course, the superhero or Superman connection in this case is really pretty incredible. But you look, maybe some of that military training kicked in. I don't know. But there it is. Thomas Walsh saved the day and saved someone from going down in the harbor. Awesome. Okay, so next segment. A North Carolina church raises money to pay off cafeteria lunch debt for every county school. Okay, so this is in North Carolina. This pastor of a North Carolina church, he's constantly trying to help children and help out his county, whether they need clothes, housing, or even a family. He has programs for his church to help out with adoptions and everything, right? So he's always trying to help people. He's always trying to do something for the county. So one week he goes and he checks out an article in the paper and notices that there's a growing number of kids whose school lunch accounts are remaining unpaid. And of course, the school debt lunch problem is not just in North Carolina, it's all around the country. But, he's looking at this saying, look, I can maybe do something about this. And so what he does is he starts doing some fundraising. They start doing some donations and they start doing a lot of different things to trade off to make money to pay off some of these debts because these parents can't pay that. I mean, if they go into it without able to, paying for the school lunches and the programs and the schools are doing it. Long story short, the debt is a total of $13,000. He goes way past it, raises $23,000, donates it, and ends up paying off all the debt for the lunches for this year. And also the rest of the money is going towards next year's lunches. So, I mean, the guy really did a great thing. If the county isn't able to provide the funding for those lunches and they have that debt, it's really going to impact the school. It could impact the teachers that are hired to perform at that school. And you could even, it could even take one of them out and put them on unemployment. That would not be good. So great. Love it when someone does good. And this is coming from an amazing pastor at this church. Maybe this is something that will ripple through and more churches and pastors and, people in other communities where they see this lunch debt problem happening can really, help out. If the government's not going to do it, then we got to do it ourselves, don't we? All right. So it's time for a Wonderlous moment of the day. This is our Wonderless moment of the day, brought to us by Rise by Shaman Angelina. She has an incredible Etsy site with handmade jewelry. She sources all the pendants of sea glass locally in the Pacific area of California, and her stuff is beautiful. The description in the description of the show, you'll find the link to her site, and you can check out her stuff and buy some. In the meantime, this is a video of palm trees and some cool music. So let's enjoy this for a minute. Well, you know what? I see a lot of palm trees here in California, but for any of you out there that haven't, that shot was really cool, and I like the music. And, again, we like these moments that are sponsored by Rise by Shaman Angelina, just to sort of give you a moment to reflect. If you're watching, you can see it. If you're just listening to the podcast and don't have the video feature like on Spotify, then you're listening to that music and just try to imagine some trees swaying from side to side. All right, so now it's time for our next segment. A couple got married at a Taylor Swift concert. I mean, that's really it right there. This young couple, so Renee Hurtado, she's 30, and her fiance Max Bachman, they just love Taylor Swift. They love her song, Taylor Swift's song, Invisible String. And, they decided, look, we don't want to get married in church. We don't want to get married at some venue, other than a Taylor Swift concert. So they dress up for it. She's got the Notes app on her phone ready to go. She told all of her friends. They picked their spot and they waited and they waited. I think it looks like they even went to like the concert the night before they were going to do this. And so on the night of the concert, let's see. So she was waiting and waiting for Invisible String to be played, right? So she says, after a string of stadium-ready anthems, Hurtado was relieved when she heard Swift play the telltale guitar opening of Invisible String off the 2020 album Folklore. So this is a song, really about two people coming closer together, in their lives. And, as it is a song, it's their favorite song and the one that they wanted to get married to. So once the wedding at the Taylor Swift concert began, Hurtado says, people got the hint and began playing along. And as they walked down the makeshift aisle, the attendees of the concert, nearby sat down. And I mean, dude, it was just a whole production. They actually, recorded it and showed it on social media, and there you go. After their kiss, the audience cheered. I've heard of weddings being done in some crazy places. I think this is really cute. Good for them. I wonder if Taylor had known, would she have stopped and done something really cool and had made an announcement? I don't believe that's what happened here, but they made it happen. So congratulations to those two lovely newlyweds, and they got to do it at the place that they dreamed of, Taylor Swift concert. So look, time for our Wonderless thought. Now, our Wonderless thought, I said, why not talk about weddings? Let's talk about that. If you've ever been married once, twice, three times or more, planning a wedding takes a lot of time. They're not cheap. Okay. So that can cost a lot of money unless you go the inexpensive route and you get married at the courthouse, which is fine. Plenty of people do that. I guess, to reflect myself, my wife and I decided to get married, and plan a wedding. It wasn't a really big wedding, but it wasn't super small. It was supposed to be small, but we couldn't decide on outside the family, meaning I said, why don't we just try to do your family, my family, immediate family members, real small, no friends of family, no friends really. And that was a tough one because we both have a lot of friends. we tried to say, well, what if we just invite one friend, like your maid of honor, my best man, just call it, and they have a guest and that's it. And honestly, it was too difficult for both of us. We have too many wonderful friends and also wonderful family members outside of our immediate family that wanted to attend our wedding. So we decided to plan our wedding where the ceremony would be in the redwoods of Northern California in the Santa Cruz Mountains. The venue was not expensive. It was a little remote. We had to make sure that there was access for those that needed assistance, that were older, I think my dad. And it worked out beautifully. And then we had the reception at a hotel. But weddings are important. It's a ceremony that we want to sort of make it a memory, if you will. And I think everyone's idea of what that is different, right? So ours was a little bit bigger. It wasn't huge, but a little bit bigger. And some are thinking like this one, Taylor Swift concert. Let's just do it there. What's your ideal wedding like? Or what was your ideal wedding? Did you have it? Did you have your dream wedding? Or did it turn into something else? And what it morphed into, or what you decided to do instead of your dream wedding? What did that look like? And was it worth it? Meaning now that you look back, you go, yeah, I wanted the big wedding in the church and whatever it is, but we decided to go small and it was perfect. It was exactly what we wanted without knowing that's what we wanted until it happened. So I think weddings are important because it's a ceremony of life of two people coming together. But what's more important is the ceremony of life, right? That commitment to one another, to be by each other's side in the good times and the bad times, right? We don't forget about that. Marriage is not only about the good times. There's going to be some rough times. But all in all, you need to get married to someone that you really, truly love and you find as a partner that you can be with and will support you as much as you support them. And if it doesn't work out, then, in those cases, it's probably best to move on. But hopefully that ceremony and that wedding was something that you always remember. And especially if you stay together, then it's something you get to constantly reflect on and show your children if you decide to have them, pictures of that event and video. So, all right. Well, anyways, listen, if you have a great story that you want to share with us here at Wonderlous News, send it to me, wonderlessnews@gmail.com. I'd love to read and talk about your Wonderlous News story. What positive, happy thing happened? Let's talk about it here. In the meantime, thanks for watching and listening. I'm Hoyt Christopher. I'll talk to you tomorrow, or I'll see you tomorrow.